All right, let's check out some of these producers involved. Jordan Peele, J.J. Abrams, Misha Green. Yeah, it's pretty good. What is up, Flick fans? Welcome back to my channel. So the first episode of Lovecraft Country drops this Sunday. I hope you guys are excited as I was to check out this series. In today's video, spoiler-free of course, we're talking about episodes 1 through 5 of Lovecraft Country. Does this show get off to the start that I think we're all hoping for? And if you enjoy this video, let me know. Get in that comment section down below. But I want to talk about Season 1. So, the basic premise here is a young man travels across the U.S. in the 1950s in search of his missing father and encounters crazy things along the way. Now, that premise, the show definitely involves that, right? But that is only the starting point of what our characters go through from episode 1 to episode 5. It not only escalates, but it becomes such a different show entirely. And that will lose a few people, especially if you're such a fan of the first episode and you want it to only be that. It's not going to be that. Every episode is distinct and different. And I'm going to make a comparison. You're probably going to think I'm crazy. I'm going to compare this to something like ScoobyDoo. Austin, what are you talking about? Well, while it's a very different show, what's the ongoing theme of ScoobyDoo every single episode? It's always the monster of the week mentality, right? I feel like Lovecraft Country has that same mentality. Every episode is not only fitting in maybe even a different genre, it's not only highlighting a different character, but there's something new to every episode that they have to deal with. And it doesn't necessarily feel like this one overarching story at the forefront, even though that's definitely taking place in the background. And that's going to bother some, right? And at first, I got into episode 2, and I'm like, yeah, I just don't like this episode as much as episode 1. But once we get past that, we get into 3 and 4, and especially 5, we are back in the thick of things. And it's so entertaining. This show is fascinating, not only because it's unlike anything else you're going to watch on television in 2020, but it covers so many genres with so many important and interesting and well-acted characters. Jonathan Majors, the last black man in San Francisco, Da 5 Bloods, he owns this performance. He is so good, as is Courtney B. Vance, as is Michael Kenneth Williams. Journey Smollett is fantastic. She is so good, especially in episode 3. It's really an episode that kind of highlights her character. And that's the thing here, right? We're not only getting one dimension. And again, it's going to throw some people off because maybe I like this episode or maybe I like what's going on here. And every episode is so different. We pass a bit of time through the episodes and we're hitting on different things. There are haunted house-esque moments. There's this full-on sci-fi series of scenes that we get into. We're dealing with kind of the old gods and the coming of man. Like, we're getting really deep within the lore here. And in terms of the actual source material, I don't know too much about it. It's a 2016 novel by Matt Ruff. It's exploring kind of the conjunction between horror, fiction, what H.P. Lovecraft has always given us, and then it hits on racism in the United States. And this show dealt with that, I thought, in a really appropriate and timely and just solid manner, right? And I know there will be some that approach this and say, oh no, we're dealing with that again. But one, it's just extremely timely, especially with what they're going through. And two, I thought it was handled in a really well done way. And it turns some of these characters that you may look at as a villain in the first place, right? But with the fantastical element and with these sci-fi twists thrown in, some of them are literal villainous figures. Now, there are a few villainous characters that show up, and again, I'm going to go back to episode 2, and I'm just like, I don't know if I like these characters as much. They feel a bit flat, and I know they're supposed to kind of feel that way, and I get it. That's probably what they're meant to be portraying on screen, but I didn't love those characters. And I may be the only one, but I feel as if some of you all will get into that second episode and just wonder what happened to the goodness, the greatness that we were getting in episode 1. Fear not, we get past that. A lot of great things in that episode, by the way. Probably the most intense in terms of going into different genres. That's all I'll say. But back to episode 3, and we're really back in the thick of things, back in the world that we were living in episode 1, and just the tension that is ramped up through all of these scenes and these crazy, whether it's a car chase, being chased by a creature. By the way, the creature design I thought was really good. For the budget that they have, I think the effects were pretty great, and I feel as if this is going to translate super well to both general audiences and people that are going to pay more attention to the characters and the character development. I think that's what it all comes down to. I mean, you have these names attached. Of course, Green, who was a screenwriter on Sons of Anarchy, J.J. Abrams, you know there's going to be a sci-fi touch in here, but oh look, Jordan Peele, sci-fi horror? Yeah, definitely. Sci-fi, horror, fantasy, thriller, drama, every genre you can imagine and think of comes within Lovecraft Country. And honestly, guys, the more I'm talking about it, the more I'm like, oh, well, maybe the show did kind of compensate for some of the weaker moments, because it is, and I know some are going to give me flack for this, it does feel a bit messy as we progress through the episodes, right? Again, it's going to take you guys a couple weeks to see that, but I feel as if it does make up for that through all of these great character moments, some nice resolve, even through the first 5 episodes, really nice resolve, and just the different feel, like I mentioned at the beginning, of every episode. They feel different, but they still feel consistent with the characters and the detriment and the drama that they face together, and they always remain cohesive as a group. Even though there's always a bit of fallout between some of the characters, they always come back together, and I love that. I loved the setup. I love the transition through the first few episodes, what we got in episode 5, what it's setting up for the future. I recommend Lovecraft Country. If you were looking forward to it, I think it's going to pay off. If you guys would like to see me dive more into the individual episodes, let me know, and I'll possibly bring you a spoiler breakdown of episode 1 on Sunday, but only if you guys want to see that. If you guys are planning on checking this out on HBO this weekend, be sure to smash that thumbs up button. So it's difficult to give my score because I have yet to watch every episode, but through the first 5 episodes, I will change this or keep it concrete. At the end of the season, a 78% for me again. Just a bit of inconsistency that keeps it from being the greatest television I've seen this year, right? But it all comes down to how they handle those final few episodes, and if they wrap around some of these storylines. I just got an email. No, seriously, guys, I appreciate you for watching. Hey, if you all have Discord, I'm going to put a link in the description and the pinned comment. Come over there and check out our group called Flick Fan Nation, where we are talking everything. Netflix and movies and screening, and there will be spoiler sections for the biggest films releasing, including Tenet. You guys are truly the best. Appreciate you for watching. Again, let me know if you'd like to see more Lovecraft content. I'll see you later.